Well, good afternoon, everybody. Susan and I are thrilled to be at the home of maneuver back at Fort Benning, the most hallowed ground in our Army, and to be involved in a ceremony such as this is indeed an honor and a distinct privilege. After 36 years and 8 months, I'm retiring on the 1st of March, and man, am I ready, because I look at all these great candidates over here, and they're ready to take these reins, and I'm ready to give them up. So well done to the candidates, survivors, or whatever you call yourselves, on your graduation this afternoon. To our distinguished guests, Mr. Jim Balcom, sir, thank you for your continued service as our civilian aide to the Secretary of the Army, fellow general officers, command sergeants, majors, and commanders, civilian leaders, most importantly, our families and friends and the candidates themselves. We're so grateful you could be here to witness this day in history. So you've done it, and you've done it with great support from your families. And I would like for you to give a round of applause to your spouses, your moms, dads, your grandparents, your brothers and sisters who stood behind you as you have completed this rigorous course of instruction. How about a round of applause, candidates, for your family members? Our great Chief of Staff, General Ray Odierno, says that the strength of the nation is the Army. He's got that right. He says that the strength of the Army is our soldiers. And he's got that right. And he says the strength of our soldiers is their families, and that's what makes us Army strong. And so to the families, thank you for your support to your leader, and that support will be tested in the days coming, that as they take on the mantle of responsibility of leading America's men and women in combat, they're going to need your continued support, so thank you for that support. OCS is complete. I guess when they dismissed the class. And so today you will become lieutenants in the United States Army. What it means is not where you came from, but how you lead. That's what's important from this day forward. Some of you are sitting there saying, well, I just got out of college and I did basic training and now I'm in OCS and I'm off to basic leader course. Some of you are saying I'm a former non-commissioned officer and now I'm an officer. Am I ready? Of course you are. There's 124 of you that have the John Best, Sergeant Major Saravino stamp of approval on you, that you've met the standard, there's been no compromise in your case, and you are indeed ready. So get out there, get after it, and lead, and don't doubt yourself. You're going to be lieutenants, you are lieutenants, but your military education is completing, and what's beginning now is your military training. So I want you to go forward to your basic officer leadership courses and apply yourself. There'll be none of this, I'm taking a break, I just got out of Fort Benning. You need to get out there and learn all that you can, squeeze every ounce out of the basic officer leadership course, because this is not about you. And it's not about you taking a break. It's about that you are leading America's treasure, our men and women, who grandparents and parents willingly give to you as officers to lead in and out of combat, to be responsible for. So you must be as prepared as you possibly can be to guard and to keep that treasure, America's young men and women. So the time to prepare is now. There'll be no time when you get to combat. There's no I wish I would have, I wish I could have, I should have. There'll only be what you have when you get to the moment of decision in combat. I'm often reminded about a young woman who came to the 10th Mountain Division when I was the commanding general, and she took over her platoon. And everybody said, ma'am, you know, it's our job to transport supplies, so we have to make sure the trucks are ready. We have to do the maintenance on the trucks. We have to know how to load the trucks, and that's what we should focus on. She said, no, we have to know how to fight. We're going to focus on being able to shoot our weapons. Every soldier in this platoon will be an expert. And they said, no, ma'am, we don't have time for that. We've got to load trucks, drive trucks, fix trucks. Didn't you hear what we told you? She said, no, I'm the platoon leader. We're going to be experts with our weapons. They were. Fast forward a couple months, we found ourselves in combat in Afghanistan as a division, and she was leading her platoon from Kandahar out to Helmand Province. There were about 100 Americans out in Helmand Province at that period of time. Today, there's probably 5,000 out there. Tough ground. They were ambushed by an outnumbered enemy force. One of the first sergeants that engaged the enemy killed 3 of them straight away. All of the platoon accomplished their mission. They defeated the enemy. They had no losses. All the supplies got through because she knew what it was to do to be a leader, to assess her formation and make sure they were trained and ready for the moment of combat. That's why it's important for you as young officers to know your stuff so that you can help your non-commissioned officers make sure your platoon knows its stuff. And you've got to understand how your platoon fits into the Combined Arms team. So it's not only knowing your branch, but how your branch supports the Combined Arms team. To do that, you've got to be tactically fit. You've got to read our doctrine. We have a tendency in our Army not to read our doctrine. In the Second World War, the Russians said the Americans have a doctrine, they just choose not to follow it. And the Germans said war is chaos, and the Americans are good at war because they practice chaos every day. We still have some of that, but I would encourage you to read our doctrine, read our history, read books like one of the most distinguished soldiers I've ever had the honor to know, Colonel Puckett, has written. Read his book because it will prepare you for your significant duties. You see, you've got to get out in the field and experience. After reading our history, reading our doctrine, you get out in the field and experience, because leadership is like lifting weights. You can't go to the gym and say, I wish I bench pressed 250. You got to get on the bench and start pushing 75 pounds, getting towards 250. So get out there and practice leadership. Don't hang back. Don't be intimidated. Get out there. Good leaders will underwrite your mistakes. You'll make plenty of them. I wouldn't be here today if a certain colonel named Colin Powell hadn't underwritten my mistakes as a young lieutenant in 101st. So they'll underwrite your mistakes. You'll be great. Second is to be physically fit. You've got to be physically fit beyond yourself today. If you're not going to walk into your battalion at 300 plus, then reevaluate who you are and what you are. Because that's the first metric your battalion commander and command sergeant major will measure. How fit are you? Because if you can push yourself, if you're disciplined enough to be fit, you can do a lot of other things, but it starts with self-discipline. And it'll help you in combat and in training to go longer, be stronger, because you are physically fit. So push yourself, and it'll help you with emotional fitness because you're physically fit. And be spiritually fit. Your faith will sustain you in the toughest of environments and situations. You will be tried in and out of combat. You will face tough situations. You will make moral decisions in and out of combat. And it's that faith, the faith in God, the faith in this wonderful country, the faith in yourself, the faith in your non-commissioned officers, your faith in your soldiers, that faith, that holistic faith, coupled with physical fitness and spiritual fitness and tactical fitness, it'll get you through. Second point is to be a leader of character. That's one of the biggest things you need to be. Many of us look up to our founding father, George Washington, that if he was nothing else, he was a phenomenal man of character. He placed this country way in front of himself. And so you must be that leader that has that character. Words like loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, personal courage cannot be words. They have to be your watchwords. They have to be what guides you, what directs you. Loyalty to country and your commanders and your soldiers. Duty to fulfill your moral obligations. You see, you're not on duty just for the time you wear this uniform. As an officer, along with your non-commissioned officers, you are always on duty. You're an officer 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. When you take this uniform off and you get into the electronic digital world, there's not another avatar. It's you. Your values in the physical world have to be your values in the virtual world. And some of you might say, well, why would you say that, General Freakley? Because I've seen officers get on the internet and speak terribly about their chain of command. I've seen them act inappropriately in the internet. And they think that, well, that's not me. That's just some digits. That's you. You're an officer. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, the rest of your life. Got to show respect for your soldiers, all your soldiers. Respect for your commanders. Too many times I've heard leaders talking down about their soldiers. There's three types of soldiers. There's those that you're thrilled to have in your formation. There's those that you're thrilled to have in your formation, but need additional training, and you're going to train him, so you'll be more thrilled that they're in your formation. And there are those that you're thrilled to help get out of the Army. Standards, no compromise. But you're going to respect every one of them. Selfless service is placing your nation, your unit, your soldiers before yourself. Be the first to get up and the last to go to bed. Get out there and check your men and women. Have honor and integrity at all times. No one can take your integrity away from you. You give it away. And sadly, as the commanding general of Fort Benning, as the commanding general of the 10th Mountain Division, as the commanding general of Army Accessions Command, I've had too many officers stand in front of me receiving letters of reprimand and Article 15s who try to convince me that somehow someone took their integrity from them. They gave it up. Don't you ever do that. You've worked too hard. Look left and right. There's only 124 of you. We need every one of you. Don't violate your values. And personal courage. You're going to be physically courageous. There's no doubt in my mind. It's the moral courage that we ask you to demonstrate as officers daily that we're going to count on. Your soldiers are counting on you to help them grow, to develop them, and when needed, to stick up for them. And live our ethos, mission first, never quit, never accept defeat, never leave a fallen comrade. You let some soldier get behind in your formation, whether it's physically, in debt, into drugs, marital strife, whatever it is, not training to standard, you're leaving a fallen comrade. General Cody used to say, failure to lead or failure to repair. Did the soldier go AWOL because we didn't care to lead them well enough, or did they go AWOL because they're just not a great soldier? The choice is yours. You're going to leave here today, this hallowed ground at Fort Benning. My third point is not to be served, but to serve. Your soldiers, your commanders owe you nothing. You owe them the best of your ability every day. Be better tomorrow than you were today. Be more tactically fit, be more spiritually fit, be more physically fit tomorrow than you were today, and give them your best. Serve them. Listen to your non-commissioned officers. Trust your non-commissioned officers. But you make the decision as you serve selflessly in our Army. Be loyal to your non-commissioned officers and your fellow commanders. And determine every day to serve to your highest potential. Don't get up in the morning and say, today I'm going to give it half. Give it the best. So that in the moment you're needed the most, you're ready for that moment. Now, you also should have some fun. Because it's unbelievably fun. I will miss the fun, the camaraderie, the teamwork. You all sitting there at attention, hearing some guy just yelled at you about being tactically fit and being a man of character and a woman of character and being selfless in your service, but go out there and have some fun. Make fun. Make it fun for your soldiers. Figure out new ways to train them. Have fun. Enjoy it. It is a remarkable journey that you're about to go on, whether it's for 3 years or for 30 years. It is a remarkable and phenomenal journey. And I envy you. And anybody who wants to swap epaulets right after this ceremony, I'm good to go. I keep the pay. I'll wear your rank. But you're going to have a great time. Seize it every day. Seize all that it's got in your darkest moment when you're the saddest. Go out and huddle up with a couple of soldiers because they will lift you up. They will lift you up remarkably just by who they are, and what they're doing. And their problems are always 10 times harder than yours. You just don't know it. So get out there and seize it. You did it. Congratulations. On behalf of all of us, welcome to the Officer Corps. Less than 1% serve our nation. Fewer are officers. Today, you've earned the right to be called an officer in the United States Army, and we are terribly proud of you. And may God bless you. May God bless our deployed forces, and may God bless the United States of America. Army strong.